Well, I guess this is it. This is your sign that you should be riding a motorcycle right now. And not having to deal with someone sitting at the light sleep. You just go right around them. I don't know if you guys seen any of my other videos, especially the Thug Life videos back in the days where I would just go around people who were asleep at the light. That's a nice way to do it. You don't have to honk them, just go right around. And if you have a silent bike, even better. They won't even be warned. You just go right around them, see them sitting at the light, and and you're chilling. So this is your sign to come and get a motorcycle. Welcome to that two-wheel life. See, we do the motorcycle peace sign. Cars don't do that. If you ever want to know what freedom feels like, get on two wheels, man. I don't know how it's like in other states, but out here in California, oh man, it's an ultimate form of freedom. You're not trapped in a cage, you know. You get to feel the wind. Even though out here we have to have helmets, but still, why would I ride a motorcycle without a helmet? That's stupid. But yeah, I'm getting a lot of people asking me about motorcycle riding, and they have a few questions, and a lot of the questions are like, is it difficult to get your license? Is it, you know, what is that like? You know, a lot of people want to know what is the experience with riding, and I'm going to tell you this much: it's like no stress, and you're just floating around in traffic, and that's what I like, because I do not like sitting in this traffic. Traffic makes me mad, especially because people are stupid. So let's just talk about the process of getting your license. So out here in California, if you want to get your license, there's two ways that I know to get it. One of them is the MSF Foundation, and the other way is the lollipop test. I call it the lollipop test. The lollipop test is how I got mine, because I was too cheap to afford the Motorcycle Foundation. But I would recommend people to do it, because you'll learn some skills and have some hands-on, especially if you don't already have your bike already. I think that's the best way to do it. And so the way I'll tell you about my process. So for myself, I started off pretty young riding motorcycles, because it was just like, I don't know, I wanted a way to get around without, you know, sweating. I started off on bicycles. That's what pretty much kick-started my love for two wheels. God, I hate these lights. They freaking suck. Yay. So I always love two-wheel things. I love bicycles. I love bicycles. I love motorcycles. I just love the feeling of being able to tip over. And it's always been like that since being very young. I've had the best memories on two wheels. And so once it was time for me, I was like, you know what? I remember just being young and watching moto vloggers and stuff. And it's funny, because when I was younger, I thought if you touch a motorcycle, you die. But the more I was watching like I don't know if you guys know the grandfather of motovlogger, M13 or More Death 13. He was posting videos, and the video that caught my attention the most was when he was in the motorcycle gear dancing. I thought that was so funny. You know, that was like old school YouTube. You know, when YouTube was a little bit more fun and less restrictive and a little bit more free, a little bit more American. At least in the sense that we think America is. So, what I ended up doing, I ended up getting my permit. So, I got my permit twice. So, basically, I had a permit for, I think, for 2 years of my riding, or maybe it was a year. I don't even know. I just maxed out the first permit, and then after my second one, I decided to do the lollipop test. So, the permit. For the permit, you do a written test. You do the written test, they give you a paper that allows you to ride, basically. So the only things that you can't do, you cannot ride at night, you can't ride on the highway, and you cannot ride with a passenger. And I'm gonna be honest, I was doing all that stuff. But I don't recommend you do it, because there's a reason why they don't allow you to do that. So, I did that for, you know, I basically got my permit twice. Because basically with a permit, you can ride. You can ride a motorcycle without supervision. You can ride any size of motorcycle. Back when I got my license, they had two different two-wheel licenses. And one was the M1 and the M2. And I think they just merged it all to one big universal license now. One was like so that you can ride 50 cc's, mopeds, engine bicycles and stuff. You know, things like that. Things that people don't know they actually need a license for. But yeah, I did that twice, and I decided to go to the DMV and do the lollipop. So for some time, I actually did go to the DMV because it was open, and I went on the course and, you know, tried it out. I did it every which way that I could, and eventually I decided one day that I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna go do it. Mind you, I used to do this with a passenger on the back of my bike. So I used to practice a test with a passenger on my bike. And at the time I had a DR250, a Suzuki, a 250cc dirt bike. Like when you turn that thing full lock, that thing could turn on a dime. Yeah, so I did that, and pretty much that's how Moto Mark was pretty much formed. That's like the birth of me. So, the other way that you can get your license, so they have these classes. I know back then they were like through CHP or something like that, but they have these classes called the, oh, why am I sitting in traffic? They have these classes called the Motorcycle Safety Foundation. It was a class where you sit in class for, I think it was a 2-day class. You sit in class for like 1 day learning things, and you know, in the class, I never done it personally, but you basically learn things like brake swerve, when to do what and whatnot. Then they take you on this course, and there's probably going to be like 10 of you guys, or maybe even 20 in the course, and you guys get these bikes, and they're not your bikes, but they have bikes there, and you just pretty much ride the course, and they have little cones and little markers on the floor, and it could be very fun. So once you pass that MSF course, let's just say you pass the MSF course and then you decide, hey, I'm gonna go to the DMV and I'm gonna go get my license. So you just pass the MSF course. You do the written test like you normally would to get your permit, but you take the permit to the DMV, and it basically converts into the license, so you don't have to do the lollipop test. So if you don't like the lollipop, you don't have to do it that way. But at the time for me, I was a broke boy, so I couldn't afford the MSF. Even though I would love to do it, and maybe one day I will, just for fun. Also, when you do the MSF course, your insurance ends up being cheaper. You get discounted insurance because you did the course. So I recommend just do that, especially if you've never ridden a motorcycle and you don't have a motorcycle that you can practice yourself, That's the best way to do it. But yeah, if you guys are looking to get a motorcycle license, please get your license. However you got to get your license, you're going to learn a lot in that process. And then, yeah, go ahead and get on two wheels. And then you'll be able to experience the freedom. The freedom that I feel. I've been doing this since very young, and I'm still riding motorcycles. Other question I get is, do you think it's dangerous? I'm gonna tell you something about life, and this is a life lesson. There's a lot of things in life you can do that is dangerous. You could be walking down the street right now and get ran over. You could be just sitting there and you could choke on something. You could have health problems. Your diet is probably more dangerous than riding a motorcycle. The lack of activity that you do not do, activities that you should be doing that you don't do because you're so busy working hard, could also cause you to die. So I'm just saying, you could just pick your poison. At least this, I'm freaking living. I'm living the best life ever. And I get to explore. Gas is cheap. My insurance is like $200 something the whole year. And yeah. And I get to go out. My tank right now to fill it up is anywhere between $14 to like $17. Like, that's unheard of right now in a car. And then I can drive maybe 150 miles, just depending how I'm riding, depending how I'm driving. Right now I'm averaging like 60 something miles a gallon, it looks like. But man, if you want to experience true freedom, this is the way to do it. Like, I mean, I have decisions I can make on this thing, man. So guys, if you guys are planning to get your bike, man. There's nothing wrong with it. And it's even better if you're good at making choices. If you make good choices, it's even better. Yeah, the thing about it, I don't care what type of bike you get. You can get the 1000s, you can get a 600, you can get a 300, you could get a 250. Man, but when you feel that two-wheel freedom, oh my gosh, that is just it. That is it. The guy that I just passed, he was on a smaller R3. And I'm not gonna be like, oh, well, that's a small bike, blah, 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 blah. Man, that's a fun bike. It's forgiving. You get to ride it. You get to enjoy yourself. You're on two wheels. And that's all that matters. So if you guys are thinking about getting that bike, go ahead and get that bike. I would recommend you to get that bike because you will enjoy it. It will change your life. It changed my life. It changed my life forever. It changed my life forever. Since I started riding, I've been riding. Maybe it could be a little bit of autism. I don't know. But since I started riding, I just enjoyed it. It changed my life. Especially for me because I don't have kids or anything. So I really don't need a big old car. And when I do get a big car, it's, you know, it's an option for myself. I just had a car. I got rid of it. You know, once you get spoiled, even though you don't have air conditioning and everything, but once you get spoiled by that freedom and not sitting in traffic, especially out here in California, you would not want it any other way. But if it's impractical for you, that's where I would say probably don't get a bike. Don't get a motorcycle because it will not be a good buy for you. I'm over here on my way to the beach. I like going to the beach every once in a while. I feel like I'm like missing something. I go to some roads and I'm just like, oh, what if I was on my bike? That's the feeling. That's the feeling that I be feeling. Yeah, man, no matter what you ride, just enjoy your ride, man. You get on your bike, you'll be living so much life in such a short amount of time. You'll just be just great. You can actually look up at the sky and you don't have to like a car roof, you know, unless you're in a Tesla where you can look up and see the sky anyway. But it is fun. It is the best thing I ever did. So I'm hoping this video encourages you to get your bike, man. Don't let your wife stop you. Oh, Lotus, I love that. I want one of those cars. That's the only car that I really want. But it's not for practicality. I just like the look and that it's a Toyota, basically. But if you guys don't have one already, it's time for you guys to get one. It's time for you to get your bike and enjoy your life. Life's too short. Life's too short to not be on two wheels. Life is too short not to be on the end of your tire. Not to be on the edge of your tire, I should say. And guys, I'm gonna tell you this much. If you're a person who makes bad decisions in life, I would probably recommend you not to get one. Because riding a motorcycle, there's a lot of decision making that you have to do. A lot of quick decision makings, a lot of knowing what you're gonna do next, a lot of things like that. Because not everybody can go for a ride, and I don't think everybody should ride. I really don't think everybody should ride. But if you're thinking about it and you make really good decisions, dude, get a freaking bike. If you make dumb decisions, most likely you'll have a short riding career. I'm not saying that you will die, but you might get hurt. Because falling on these things do hurt sometimes. Oh, that thing's cool, that little cutaway, custom-made RV. So guys, I'm telling you, this is your sign, man. This is that sign. This is that video that's telling you that you need to get your bike, man. Summertime is coming. It's spring right now. Get my naked self on my stupid bike and enjoy the ride. He's cruising in that RV. Oh, that's cool. Bring an RV to the beach. Get to see some Grand Theft Auto 5 scenery. Got some Grand Theft Auto 5 NPCs. A little bully. I'm just gonna go to the beach, go to my little chill spot. I like to just kind of sit there for like 20-30 minutes, you know, watch the sunset, and then go back home because I can. And you can see it doesn't take that much time to do this type of stuff. And I'm not even splitting like crazy. I'm just taking it slow. I'm gonna go this way. I don't want to follow a car. Oh, that sucks. I'm gonna let her do her thing. I'm in no rush. Yep, there we go. Wheels are straight. Then the other thing that happens too when you're riding, you get so many people who just want to talk to you. They're so curious about riding, man. Oh, that reflection was clean. I'm gonna go check out that reflection again. That was a reflection right there. And that's another thing. When you're riding, you're gonna be like, oh, look at that reflection of myself. Gotta see that reflection again. That reflection was clean. Oh, look at that reflection. Look how sexy that bike looks. Oh, look at that. That is so clean. I'm sorry, car. I'm like into myself. I should have to come in on the other side. Oh yeah. Oh, that's a nice little Dodge camper van. I'm gonna park in the emergency parking. Oh, it's slippery here. And my shoes do not have tread. I need new shoes. Hey, I'm gonna put a GoFundMe for my shoes, guys. Oh, almost died. Oh God. Oh God. Great thing I got stallion legs. My wheels aren't even slipping on this sand, but my shoes are. That is not a good sign. But we are out here at the beach. Just gonna go and enjoy and breathe in the freedom and check out my very, very dirty bike. Oh man, this thing's been getting me out. I'm gonna go recheck the tire pressure because after the tires cool off a bit, because they're kind of high right now. I inflated my tires last night when it was very, very cold. It made the morning too hot. But like I said, stupid bird. I'm gonna open my visor. But like I said, it's your sign, man. Go get your bike. Go get your bike. Meet those interesting bike riding people. You know, enjoy yourself. Enjoy your freedom. I'm on a very Chinese bike. Very well made Chinese bike, I should say. And I'm just enjoying it. If you guys like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, you know, all the things. And don't forget to comment, you know. If you guys are riders, let me know what's up. You guys got little questions? I try to respond to everybody. Everybody that I can, because I'm not that famous, so that guy's out there fishing. Everybody's just enjoying their life. Like, it's so slow down here because everybody's just doing their hobbies. They're not sitting out here working or having to be anywhere or do anything right now. Everybody's just enjoying themselves. That's what I like to do. I like to come to these places, you know, and kind of ground out and unwind, you know. Ooh, excuse me. Just ground out, unwind, and just slow down a bit. Especially get out the concrete jungle, you know. Be a, you know, with a little bit of nature, even though this is like kind of fake nature, but you know, the water's real. The animals are real. But yeah, guys, like I said earlier, if you guys like this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.